Disclaimer: I doesn't claim any of the arts. All the picture shown belongs to the respective artist and company. If you are original owner and want me to remove the video, I will do it immediately. Just send me an email to inform me. And if you liked my content, please subscribe to the channel. Chapter begins, and we see that Luca didn't remember being full as a kid. A person from the Empire brought food to the orphanage twice a month, but the boss of the orphanage always sold half of it to make money for himself. This made the kids hungry. Even though he was hungry, Luca kept training. He read every old and forgotten book he could find. He also lifted rusty metal pieces to make his body stronger. The other kids made fun of him. They said he was dumb for using his energy because it just made him more hungry. But Luca thought being strong would help him get more food. He knew that in the world, strong people did well and weak people suffered. The kids he fought with would say mean things. They reminded him that he was just another orphan with a number. Some said that if Luca was really special, he would be in a better orphanage for kids who were very talented. They told him that no matter how strong he acted, he was still stuck in the bad part of the orphanage. Luca didn't listen to them. When he was 12, he took another test and got a chance to train to be an Imperial Guard. At 15, he became a trainee. The kids who made fun of him before didn't understand his life. He hoped he would never see them again. Over time, Luca forgot about the poor part of town and thought he wouldn't have to go back. Now, Luca was facing a fighter named Steel Fist Gabriel. Gabriel was big and bald and had metal parts. He couldn't believe he had to fight a kid, but he didn't care as long as he got paid. Luca looked at Gabriel closely. He saw that Gabriel's metal arms and legs were not the same and didn't fit together well. His back was bent from the heavy metal parts. His skin was red where it touched the metal. Luca guessed Gabriel needed medicine to sleep, but he knew the man was strong. Gabriel got close and yelled at Luca for staring. Luca knew Gabriel's body was changed only to be strong. Then, Gabriel said something rude, suggesting Luca should be his servant later. Luca smiled and said Gabriel would need a servant soon because he would be hurt in the fight. This made Gabriel very angry. He said he would beat Luca until he begged to be his servant. Alf announced the fight and a KINUAN watched quietly. Alf said the fight was starting. Luca knew he didn't have metal parts like Gabriel. He knew one hit could kill him. Gabriel punched with his big right fist right away. Luca moved out of the way easily and kicked Gabriel in the face. But it didn't do anything. It felt like a tickle to Gabriel. Luca thought that if he had his metal parts, Gabriel's head would break like a fruit. Luca moved away, but saw that the fighting area was small. Gabriel kept punching, and each punch could kill him. Luca moved out of the way of the punches easily. He could see that Gabriel was trying to kill him, but his own hits didn't hurt Gabriel. The people watching didn't like Luca. They yelled at him for playing around and told Gabriel to break Luca's head open. Luca knew what was happening, but he didn't know why KINUAN brought him to the fighting place. He remembered the important things about fighting that he learned before. He learned to use what you have. It doesn't help to wish for something you don't have, and praying won't make a weapon appear. He had to fight with what he had, no matter how little. He thought about these things as he moved away from Gabriel's strong punches. KINUAN took away his metal parts, but Luca still had his eyes. This made him realize that KINUAN didn't think he could beat Gabriel with just strength. As Gabriel's fist came at him again, Luca tried to accept the situation. The more he understood the fighting method, the clearer things became. His eyes turned blue as his power turned on. He looked at Gabriel's punches closely. They were like strong cannons. The small shakes in Gabriel's shoulders showed when he would punch. His eyes showed where he was aiming, and the length of his arm showed how far he could reach. Compared to a real gun, it took a long time to get ready, and Luca could easily guess where it would go. KINUAN was surprised and thought Luca was smart. He knew Luca already knew the fighting method because he was talented. He wanted to see how much better Luca could get. Luca kept moving away from Gabriel's punches, which made Gabriel angrier. People watching complained that Gabriel was losing to a young person and told him to kill Luca. Luca was very focused, which helped him guess Gabriel's attacks. He wondered if he could do what KINUAN did to him before. Luca grabbed Gabriel's right arm, kicked his right knee, and threw him like he was a piece of clothing. He He hit Gabriel's face with his knee, which made a dent in his face. Luca laughed because he was excited and understood why KINUAN was watching him. Gabriel stood up and said he didn't care how Luca made him fall. He said Luca's weak hits wouldn't work on him. Then he turned on the power in his right arm and ran at Luca. His metal fist touched Luca's face before hitting the wall. Luca grabbed Gabriel's face and asked if his hits really wouldn't work. Luca said that if he wasn't strong, he just needed to make up for it. Luca jumped up, grabbed Gabriel's head, and twisted it. Then, Luca moved away from Gabriel and looked at the people watching. They were surprised because they thought he would die. He said he would keep getting better until their words couldn't hurt him anymore. Luca was thinking about how he'd probably mess up in a real fight. Things would be crazy and he wouldn't be able to focus. He pulled his hood up and went back to the waiting room where KINUAN was. Luca thought KINUAN was a great teacher. KINUAN told Luca he did well and welcomed him to Arki's combat method. He gave Luca some money chips. Luca asked if it was his payment, but KINUAN said it was for Gabriel's hospital bills. He wanted Luca to give it to him, saying it would be nice to be kind. Luca said he wanted to be a soldier, not a nice guy. KINUAN said Luca was silly for not seeing how important people are. He said it wasn't just giving money away, it was helping someone, and Luca could get something back later. KINUAN said he was getting help from people he had helped before. He said that making things good for yourself was what a good soldier did. Luca realized KINUAN wasn't just teaching him because he was good or because they were both poor. KINUAN was helping him so he could get something back later that Luca couldn't say no to. Even KINUAN walking away seemed scary to Luca. Next, we see a hospital. A doctor said Gabriel should get new parts to replace his old broken ones. Gabriel knew they were expensive and said the doctor was trying to trick him. He said other people with the same old parts were fine. The doctor said Gabriel had changed his body a lot and he had used parts that didn't fit. Gabriel said he was poor and just used whatever he could find. The doctor said he could buy Gabriel's old parts and put in new ones that weren't too expensive, but they wouldn't be good for fighting. Just as Gabriel was complaining, Luca came in and asked how he was. Gabriel got mad and said he'd kill Luca. Luca reminded him that he said he wouldn't hurt him too badly in the fight. Then Luca remembered KINUAN's advice about helping people. He asked the doctor if the money from the fight could pay for Gabriel's new parts. The doctor said it could. Gabriel was confused and asked what Luca was doing. Luca said he was paying for Gabriel's bills. Gabriel was shocked and asked why. Luca just said he felt like it. Gabriel couldn't believe Luca was actually a good guy. He had been shown kindness by the winner. Gabriel asked Luca his real name, and Luca told him. Gabriel said he would help Luca any time to pay him back. Luca realized it felt good to help. Later, at the training area, Ile was fighting Luca and tried to kick him. Luca easily stopped the kick and made Ile flip in the air without even trying. Ile was scared as he watched Luca get ready to hit him. During a break, Ile still felt the pain from Luca's punch and asked if Luca really learned to fight from KINUAN. Luca said yes. He remembered that KINUAN's fighting style used tricks from the street, like holding glass or throwing dirt. Luca didn't want to believe it, but that's what KINUAN taught him. Ile knew he could never beat Luca in a fight. Luca said Ile was still the only one who could keep up with him. He thought about how fighting in the Colosseum had changed how he saw fighting, making everything he learned seem simple. Ile noticed Luca seemed happier. He asked if Luca was free because he needed help. Luca said he would help. They went to the visiting room at the barracks. Luca looked disappointed and glared at Ile, who was sweating. It was because Lillian was visiting. Ile said sorry and explained that his family knew the Rames family, so he had to let her visit. Lillian said she had asked to visit many times and wanted to know why Luca was avoiding her. Luca said he wasn't interested and hoped she would leave him alone. Ile said Luca should be nicer, but Luca told him to be quiet because he was already annoyed. Lillian glared at Luca and asked what he didn't like about her. Luca said he didn't have time for women. He said that he grew up in an orphanage and would lose everything if he messed up. Lillian said it would be good for him to be close to her. Luca said she didn't understand. He thought relying on her power could mean losing everything if she wanted. He wanted to make his own power. Lillian said it was weird that he didn't want to rely on nobles but was friends with Ile. Luca said Ile was a friend he could trust in a fight, not someone he needed because he was a noble. Lillian realized Luca wasn't going to give her a chance. Luca was quiet for a moment, then agreed. He stood up and told Lillian not to visit again, and he left. As Luca walked away, Ile caught up and told him not to be too harsh. Luca said Lillian would keep bothering him if he wasn't firm. They agreed, but Ile asked why Luca didn't like Lillian and said they could at least meet sometimes. Luca said he didn't know why Lillian liked him. He thought it was strange that a noble would be interested in someone like him. Ile said he heard she liked him because of her dead brother and thought Luca was just scared because he didn't know why she was interested. He said Luca should take things slow with Lillian. Luca surprised Ile by saying that Ile liked Lillian. Ile asked how he knew. Luca said he could tell by Ile's eyes, how he breathed, and how nervous he was during training. Luca had learned to see these things quickly. Luca said he wasn't interested in Lillian and said Ile should try to be with her. Ile couldn't say anything and looked away. Lillian was gone, and Ile said it was impossible for him to be with her. And with that, this chapter ends. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Support this channel by liking this video and subscribing the channel. And if you want me to recap another manhwa or manga, write its name on comment section. And if you want to know what happened in previous chapter, you can watch them in this YouTube channel.